Most people imagine criminal networks as chaotic operations run by dangerous individuals, working in shadows and alleyways. But what if the real global underworld doesn't look like the movies? What if it looks more like a multinational corporation, organized, efficient, quietly integrated into the global financial system, and responsible for moving hundreds of billions of dollars every single year? Here's the part almost nobody understands. The biggest criminal organizations don't move money in bags, vaults, or briefcases. They move it through banks, brokers, shipping companies, oil traders, crypto platforms, shell corporations, and even government systems, right under the world's nose. And the mystery is this: how do illegal networks move billions across borders without being stopped? The answer is more complex, more keen, and more calculated than anything Hollywood has ever shown. To understand this hidden system, we need to go back in history, long before modern drug cartels or online fraud groups. Ancient empires depended on smuggling. Pirates on the Silk Road used caravans paid in silver to move contraband between kingdoms. Medieval merchants secretly carried gold for banned trade. For thousands of years, illegal economies developed alongside legal ones. But something changed in the 20th century, a shift that quietly built the foundation for today's trillion-dollar criminal economy. As global trade expanded, borders opened, and financial systems digitized, criminals discovered a truth economists already knew: money moves faster than law, and wherever money can move, crime can too. By the 1970s, global banking transformed. SWIFT connected the world's banks. Offshore tax havens exploded in the Caribbean and Europe. Wall Street invented complex loopholes, foreign branches, correspondent banks, and don't tell account structures. Suddenly, money could cross the world in seconds. Criminal networks didn't need to compete with governments anymore. They blended into the same system governments used. The old world of smuggling cash became a sophisticated, integrated financial machinery. The rise of modern drug cartels in the 1980s became the first true test of global criminal finance. Cocaine money from the US needed to reach Colombian producers, and profits needed to come back disguised as legitimate business revenue. So cartels invented early versions of what we now call trade-based money laundering. They bought clothing, appliances, furniture, car parts, anything legal, and shipped them overseas, hiding drug profits inside ordinary trade. When US authorities searched for cash, criminals had already switched to commerce. When regulators monitored commerce, criminals shifted to offshore banks. Every crackdown forced innovation. By the 1990s, a new layer emerged: professional money launderers. These weren't gangsters. They were accountants, lawyers, bankers, and consultants. They built shell companies in Panama and the British Virgin Islands, opened bank accounts in Hong Kong and Zurich, and structured transfers so complicated that even auditors couldn't follow the trail. Illegal money now traveled the world disguised as consulting fees, real estate investments, import-export invoices, charitable donations, and even church funding. Criminal networks didn't hide from the financial system. They became part of it. Then came the breaking point: 9/11s. After the attacks, governments built the strongest anti-money laundering systems in history. FATF rules, KYC regulations, enhanced bank monitoring, suspicious activity reports, and global blacklists. But something unexpected happened. Criminal organizations adapted faster than regulators. Terrorist groups used hawala networks, an ancient trust-based transfer system moving billions without a bank. Drug cartels switched to Chinese money laundering networks. Human traffickers used remittance corridors. Cybercriminals discovered crypto. Each new law created new loopholes. Each loophole created new opportunities. Today, the global criminal economy is worth more than $2 trillion per year, larger than most countries. Drug cartels, mafia groups, cybercrime syndicates, arms traffickers, corruption networks, and sanctioned governments all rely on a shared infrastructure. The money rarely moves in cash. Instead, it flows through a global pipeline. A cartel sells drugs in the US. The earnings are collected by Chinese brokers. These brokers buy luxury goods using the cartel's cash. Those goods are shipped to China and sold for local currency. That local currency is used to pay Chinese companies in Mexico, who then pay cartel suppliers. No bank ever handles the dirty money directly, and no border agent can stop a luxury handbag shipment. Meanwhile, African gold smugglers extract tens of billions worth of gold, fly it to Dubai, melt it, re-export it legally, and deposit clean profits into global banks. Eastern European mafia groups use online gambling sites to launder money. Middle Eastern networks move billions through trade hubs using fake invoices. Russian oligarchs channel funds into London real estate. Criminal shipping fleets turn off GPS trackers and smuggle oil worth billions for sanctioned governments. And cybercriminals launder ransomware money through mixers, crypto casinos, and decentralized exchanges. This is not disorganized crime. This is financial engineering. The fallout is enormous. Criminal networks distort markets by flooding them with illegal cash. They create real estate bubbles in major cities. They undermine currencies by injecting unregulated flows. They support corruption, political influence, terrorism, and shadow economies. In some countries, underground networks are so large they function as parallel financial systems, bigger, faster, and more trusted than the official government. Entire cities depend on smuggled goods. Entire industries depend on illicit finance, and some governments quietly rely on black markets to bypass sanctions or raise revenue. Attempts to stop this system almost always fail. Regulators tighten controls. Criminals hire smarter accountants. Banks add more compliance. Criminals add more shell companies. Governments blacklist certain nations. Criminals reroute through intermediaries. Every solution creates a more complex problem. The global economy runs on speed. Criminal networks run on speed. Regulations, however, run on paperwork and delay. Criminal finance thrives in the gap between the world we see and the world that actually moves the money. Modern parallels make the pattern clear. Crypto has opened a new frontier, not because it is anonymous, but because it allows criminals to move money at the speed of the internet, across borders that regulators can keep up with. Sanctioned oil moves on shadow fleets, tankers with fake identities, transferring billions in the dark ocean. Illegal mining, from cobalt to gold, feeds into global supply chains, powering smartphones and electric vehicles. Drug cartels now use supply chain software, encrypted networks, and global brokers who never meet in person. Cybercrime syndicates have business models, HR departments, and 24/7 customer support. None of this looks like traditional crime. It looks like multinational enterprise. The most shocking twist in this story is not how criminals move billions. It's why they're able to, because the global economy depends on speed, liquidity, and loopholes, and criminals simply use the same tools corporations and governments use. Offshore banks, shadow banking, correspondent accounts, trade hubs, free zones, crypto rails, and deregulated financial centers are part of the legitimate global system. Criminals don't hide from the system. They hide inside it. In the end, the global criminal economy survives because it fills gaps. When banking is too slow, criminals create faster networks. When cross-border payments are expensive, criminals create cheaper ones. When governments restrict trade, criminals reroute it. When corruption blocks opportunity, criminals offer alternatives. And when the official economy cannot deliver, the dark economy takes its place. The first big takeaway is this: criminal networks don't operate outside the global economy. They operate through it. The same systems that move legal capital also move illegal capital, and the difference often disappears once money enters the financial bloodstream. The second takeaway is that black markets grow strongest where governments are weakest or where regulations are too overwhelming, pushing people into the shadows. Criminal economies aren't just a failure of policing. They're a failure of policy, governance, and trust. And the third takeaway is perhaps the most important. The criminal economy isn't shrinking. It's evolving, modernizing, and integrating with digital finance, global trade, and geopolitical conflict. The next $1 trillion of illegal activity won't move in suitcases or secret meetings. It will move through crypto protocols, offshore trusts, shipping networks, and AI-powered fraud systems that regulators can't keep up with. The warning is simple. As long as the global economy remains unequal, complex, and full of loopholes, criminal networks will continue to grow, not as outsiders, but as hidden participants shaping markets, politics, and global power. And if you want to understand how the world really works, how money moves, how power operates, and how the hidden financial systems behind crime, war, and global trade shape our future, subscribe to The Dark Economy, because the truth isn't in the headlines. It's in the shadows beneath them.